everybody, I'm back with a video. I know it's been, I don't know, a long time since I filmed a video for you guys, but I've been working really hard to get my website up and running, so it's kind of taken a little bit of my time, plus I have a day job and other life happening, so thank you for bearing with me as I kind of navigated all this, and now I feel like I'm ready to get back in the swing of things and do some videos. So I would just want to do a quick video today on some of the hidden icy food triggers. I feel like I hear so many people who get stuck in flares, or they have constant flares off and on, and they think they're following the icy diet, and I know it happened to me in the beginning, but sometimes I feel like there are things, even when you're following the icy diet, that you're not aware of that are in foods that should be icy friendly. So I know cottage cheese is something that a lot of you eat, and something I used to eat before I became lactose intolerant, and I was eating a lot of cottage cheese. I would put pears in it. It was so good. And I wasn't flaring huge, but I still wasn't feeling that great. And so I remember just looking even closer at my food labels and seeing that most cottage cheese has like citric acid in it. So that's just something to be mindful of if you are stuck in a flare, constantly flaring, but you feel like you're following a very strict icy diet. Sometimes there are hidden little things like acids or preservatives in foods that might bother you more while you're flaring or your bladder is more sensitive than maybe if you were kind of at your baseline doing okay. So just maybe, especially if you're flaring or you can't get out of a flare, look at your food labels. So I kind of just want to go over some of the top triggers or things that might keep you stuck in a flare. And the first big one is MSG, also known as monosodium glutamate. MSG is tasty. It's in a lot of Chinese food, but it's also in a lot of packaged foods and salty type snacks. And it also has some other names that it can kind of go under. There's other things that have the same type of ingredient or are used to make MSG that can also cause bladder irritation. And I wrote them down because I won't remember all the names, but some of the names that might indicate that a food has MSG are names like modified food starch, hydrolyzed vegetable or plant protein, sodium caseinate, yeast extract, textured protein, autolyzed yeast. Pretty much if you see the word hydrolyzed or modified, be cautious, maybe look it up. It could irritate your bladder, especially if you have been stuck in a flare or your bladder is really sensitive. The next thing is the acids, citric acid, ascorbic acid. They are in a lot of things. They're used as a preservative typically. Even in dairy products, I've seen it in mozzarella cheese, cottage cheese. Typically, like as a last ingredient, these acids won't bother people, but if your bladder is very sensitive or you find yourself stuck in a flare, this could be, you know, hindering you from getting out of that flare or irritating your sensitive bladder. So, the acids, the two acids, citric and ascorbic. The next item is the preservatives, BHT and TBHQ, which stand for some really long chemical names, which you shouldn't want in your body anyways, but these two preservatives are used in so many packaged, prepackaged goods. So many cereals contain these two preservatives. Even cereals that I see that I think might be icy friendly, maybe they're not heavily fortified, I will look and be like, ugh, there they are again. Seriously, check everything. I am more surprised when I don't find those preservatives in food than when I do. Typically, it's used in a lot of American food. The next thing is some spices. The cayenne, paprika, turmeric, those things that give food a kick and a spice. Sometimes a food won't seem spicy, but if you look at the ingredients, you'll find one of those spices in it. So, for example, chicken nuggets. There's some brands that I see that I think might be icy friendly, but when you look at the back, a lot of times there is one of those spices in there. Like I said, they're not typically a spicy food, and a lot of times chicken nuggets are geared towards kids, but those spices are in there just to give it a hint of flavor. So if your bladder is very sensitive, you might want to pay attention to if one of those spicy foods, I don't know why I did that, spicy foods, spices are in your food. Typically I'll see them in meats. Another food item that is actually an irritant for a lot of IC patients is soy. Soy flour is in a lot of bread products, so if you're soy sensitive, watch out for that one. There's also soy lecithin, which is, I think, used as like a stabilizer, but it can be in a lot of like even candy, IC-friendly candies and things. It's, or an emulsifier, I believe. It holds oil and water together and does some other things. But so watch out for the soy. If you're very sensitive, most of the time soy lecithin won't bother people, but if you're very soy sensitive, it might. So check for soy. And another, okay, there's only two more, I promise. Another trigger can be nitrates. Nitrates you will find in like lunch meats and maybe hot dogs and things. So turkey and roast beef, they can be IC friendly, but check for nitrates, added nitrates. They can be an irritant to your bladder. There's a few brands out there that make them without extra added nitrates and things. I think Hormel does and Applegate Farms does. So look for those brands. They're really great and more IC friendly. And the last item, yay, because I really want to make short videos so you guys will actually watch them, is sulfites. So sulfites, I think, are typically used as a preservative in things like coconut. So coconut itself is usually IC friendly, but you will see sulfites used in coconut all the time. I usually look for organic coconut because I've never seen it in organic coconut products. Okay guys, that's it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for all the kind comments and your follows on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. If you want to follow me on any of those social sites, I have links somewhere. If there's things you think I might have forgot to include in this list or that bother you that you have found kind of hidden, share them below. You never know who you might help. So thanks for watching. Bye!